Well, we've had the back, we've had the fourth, and now we are here. Teams trading their opposition's map picks to end up on Anubis. Sangal winning the knife and opting to start on the CT side. The stakes could not get any higher. There is a place in ECL next season on the line, and we are going to need this third and final map to separate these two rosters and decide who gets it. Fast-paced play almost immediately from B8. As they look to press the issue straight through mid and in towards Temple. They actually want to split into B, and for now, there is an incredibly heavy CT stack ready and waiting for them. 4 players inside the relative safety of sight, and the trades are working out beautifully for Sangal. Nothing B8 can do. It's a demolition job to start map 3.
Yeah, it was a similar affair on the previous pistols back on Ancient as well. They really just kind of found their footing, and well, again, it's going to give them a really good base to work off of. The call was correct there. I'd imagine they also put some time into looking at exactly how B8 like to play this map. Either that or it was a Hail Mary that just played off perfectly. Either way, pistols only for B8. They're not going to put any investment at all into this round, so I'm not expecting anything really to be found. 1 or 2 kills would be nice. Avoid getting mowed down by the MP9s. That would also be a positive. Preferably die to the M4s or the pistol if it's going to happen. M4s preferably. Gangino, of course, trying to fund his op.
Here's the swing.
That was a wild 5-man swing from B8. Well played.
Sorcerer though ready to mop up the remaining pieces and should be able to do so without too many issues. Does go down, 2 players fall, but there's rifles to be recovered. That's not world ending. The Gangino pistol goes up to an MP9, so all of the good rifles are held on to. I mean, I kind of look at that and go, well, realistically, they've only lost MP9s. I don't particularly care. But I can see the counter. You know, they've got a couple of kills, a little bit of bonus money in there. They'll be able to bring AKs, a little extra util to the party coming into this round. And that's exactly what they do. 5 AK-47s, good util across the board for B8. Now the question is, what have they got on this T side? Because they went very, very quiet on map 2. Need to see a change up.
Yeah, another thing is they pretty much forced Sangal to go straight onto an extra M4 than they would have had otherwise. Likely they would have had another MP9, and that means that they don't quite have the bonus round here. Only 2 players really having the money to buy if they lose this one. So it could give them a bit of help in building up this early streak of rounds if they can pull this one off. Of course, though, Sangal are still in a really good position. That MP9 is going to make a crazy playthrough main. He was kind of forced to do so as the molly came in. That wasn't the plan at all. You roll with what you've got, and unfortunately it didn't work out for Sossel. So B8 with an early frag and a ton of time to play off of it as well. They are shifting their attention towards B though pretty heavily.
They got the util to plan out a full exec here, and at the moment Sangal are pressing elsewhere. Youngster's been left solo as mid control is looking to be taken. Util will come over the top if they look to push through that smoke. The site's going to be wide open for the take-in. Youngster trying to play ahead of what util has been dropped. Good nade onto Owner, but he's losing the sight in the meanwhile. Captain Kirka ready for the smoke pop. So's MPL. And with 2 quick kills, the round is as good as done. Gangino still all the way over on A. Amster is looking for him on the exit as well. This is going to be a tough one. Barrel spotted. If Amster crouches down, he should be able to dodge this. He dodges the bullet instead. Clean headshot. And for Kyubi, a desperate bid to hold on to his rifle and give his team something to work around in the next.
Yeah, QB's just desperately trying to keep his gun in play. As I said, 2 players have the money they need to buy. He is going to be spotted most likely, unless the timing worked out for him to retreat in the cover. No, he gets that kill, but now they're coming in through the bomb site as well, so good chance this gun is taken away, and well, at least it makes it costly, I suppose. A second frag is a small consolation for losing that M4, yeah. The question is, can they really pull together a buy? They will go for it, because they have 2 players on a complete double eco with 15 and 1600 there, I believe it was. So they get what they can. 3 M4s alongside a Deagle on a 5.7. It is not terrible, but as I said, it gives B8 a good chance now. If they win out this round, Sangal then are looking at an eco. B8 can start building up this T side early on. Vice versa, though, the economy isn't really there for B8 either. So if they were to lose this one, they also would just be about scraping by in the next round.
Perhaps worth noting at this moment that both teams are T-sided, Sangal massively more so. So any rounds they can scrape together really on their CT half are going to be a win. And well, this time they're looking for aggression. Kyubi playing in and around the mid doors, trying to just distract away, but They're losing bodies over on A in the meanwhile. Wrinkle gets one. Gagino is there for a quick trade, and there is plenty of presence about as Youngster manages to grab another. This is getting sketchy. Amster doesn't seem to know the rifle's there, but does very well to deal with it regardless. And what for a split second looked like an incredibly dangerous situation is very rapidly neutralized by the T side. A handful of picks across the board get them into the B site, and Amster somehow wrecking balls his way through A for a triple. We level out at 2 apiece. Eco to follow. This is exactly what B8 would have wanted.
Yeah, ploughed through that one. Keeping some SMGs here and playing knowing that they're going to be up against an Eco as well, so they'll have a chance to further build on this economy now. As Sangal are stuck just on those USPs, and even then their buy in this next round is again going to be a little bit iffy. They'll get the rifle, sure, but the nades won't quite be there. They're going for a crazy Hail Mary mid-play. Unfortunately, NPL is more than ready. If they cross the doors, he would have the back to Wrinkle, and now he has the Mac 10 come in and clean up. That's really as perfect as perfectly as they could have hoped for that round to go right there. And they get it done nice and quick. That's always a positive for everyone, right? when it's just USPs or Glocks, you don't want it to be too prolonged. Sometimes
yeah, you don't want to be watching that for any longer than necessary.
Maybe like 2% at a time. Does a full default pistol buy, get something done.
Didn't necessarily get as much money off those Mac 10s as they would have hoped, though. Owner did, definitely got a double. Amster didn't find anything, and he's insta upgrade to an AK, so...
He had the money, though.
Swings and roundabouts.
He had some money at the beginning of that round. Owner didn't really, so it kind of evens them out. And, well, the rest of them on the team, as you can see, are also pretty handy for cash for the moment. Especially when you look at the buy that Sangal are working with right now. It's not great. Gangino doesn't get an op either. He's on an AUG. Gets a scope at least, but it's not the one he wanted.
Heavy A main presence this time as the execute starts to line up. Sorcel's got util to drop and buy himself some space, and here he goes out towards connector. Just hoping to stay alive and buy time. The retake is going to be called here, and Sorcel has managed to thread the needle a little bit here. NPL bails his teammates out in a big way. Huge damage done, but can they convert on it? Kyubi gets one to bait them in. Gangino deals with the mid lurk. And now 3 on 4. They'll feel like this CT side have got a chance at making this happen. NPL, though, he's starting to thin the numbers further. Limited util at this point. One flashbang and a couple even. As Captain Kirk is going to go very proactively into the fight. Traded 1 for 1. Wrinkle in trouble. Got to hold 2 angles at once. Does beautifully to deal with the main hold. And now with Gangino's position known, just has to fade away into nothing. AK held onto for the next round, sure, but B8 have just busted down the door of that A site.
And Gangino goes running with an AK instead of the AUG at the very least, but I'm surprised at this point, considering everyone else on his team is sitting just about where he is money-wise, about 3,000, so they don't have what they need to get to buy. Maybe some pistols and some body armor since they have the full loss bonus. He's actually going to buy a FAMAS. That was weird. Yeah, he sells it back. I was thinking that didn't seem too necessary. Could have dropped some P250s or something maybe, if he wants to let his teammates build more money than he has, but he's got to focus on the next round as well, so I'm not expecting much of a drop. We'll see maybe P250s or 5.7s elsewhere. Sangal, though, I've actually called in a pause.
Interesting.
I thought maybe it would have happened before the next round when they're going on to the guns, but I guess wanting to look ahead to the future here and now.
Maybe just trying to work out what they're going to do with that one saved AK. Yeah. Where you're going to put it, what you're going to try and do to give it the impact it needs.
What QB's going to do to back it up, apparently, as well, because I was going to say he isn't buying a pistol even. He had initially only bought a smoke and a flash, so I thought he was going to literally just be at the hip of Gangino trying to assist him in getting kills. Might still be the plan. See?
Not a bad little half by this.
A lot of 5.7s, you don't see this too often. Normally it's a mix. It's a good map for them though, a lot of close range positions.
Youngster's going to get the first of them. Very close to landing that initial headshot. Molotov to flush him out, but he gets the better of Owner. Opening kill found, rifle recovered, water control taken as well. Then Amster's got to be so careful here. He's not ready for it whatsoever. Youngster gets a freebie to double it. Traded for 1, but this T side is in disarray now. Kyubi and LNZ on 2 very tight angles on these 5.7s and playing a timing as well because there is a fast flank coming in. Captain Kirk does very well to find 1, dinked but takes it to find the second. Sorcel and Youngster Well, there's a decision to be made now. They know there's a dink on the board. They know there's damage found, but those rifles could be valuable. They lose one early. And Youngster, tagged up to 9 HP in the opening engagements, now has to concede, has to consider the save. It's a valiant effort from him to find 2 kills. Really had no business getting either of them. But it will be a 5th round for B8 regardless, and that T side continuing to stretch its legs. You have to imagine that Sangal, well, they need some CT impact in the next couple of rounds because this is starting to smell like Mirage all over again.
Yeah, this is definitely worrying. Things can spiral on the CT side and just become so difficult to control. Youngster's low health here as well, so I don't know if he's going to save that AK as the blows into his position. There you go. Would have been a nice addition, but it's not necessary. They still have the money. They need to buy. But they need to turn it around here and now. Otherwise, B8 will be running off at least 7, maybe more on this T side. The op at least is available again for Gangino. I don't think he'd actually gotten it up to this point. Did actually in the first gun round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he had specifically saved for it and only went for the pistol on the second round. So he had it then, but he lost this somehow. Then he was on the AUG, of course, after they started losing a couple of rounds. Either way, he has his chance here to maybe get something done. They're closing in quickly through water over towards B, though. Players at least.
Good, Molly. Well timed. Just as they look to pinch onto Youngster, he drops his util. Wrinkle wants this fight still, though. Youngster up close, a man deep, free kill, make it a double. Youngster not able to capitalize on the flashbang, owner just ahead of it. And the man advantage quickly doubled util to follow the issue. Kyubi does deal with the mid flank. So at least something, but I don't know if that's even going to be enough to tempt this CT side back into it. Bomb's going to go down. And 3 on 4 as Gangino rails off a shot, nothing found. Yeah, it's going to have to be another save. 6 will go the way of B8. The economy, just the ultimate downfall of Sangal at the moment. They can't afford to throw themselves at anything because they haven't got the cash to back it up. And they're letting these rounds slip away from them.
This is just rough. Sangal aren't really getting themselves into any of these rounds. I thought they might have had a chance there in towards connector even after the first player died, but it was just the timing. They looked to try and aggress then instead of LNZ, I think it was, hooking in. Oh, sorry, Youngster was the one who was up close. LNZ was the one who died to the op initially. Tried to push out, it's just he swung wide, missed the player that was close because there was a second one, of course, that was shooting his way. And it was done at that point pretty much. They'd already lost the bomb site. B8 are making this look quite easy right now, and their economy is getting out of control as well, which is obviously a big issue for Sangal. They have pretty much zero chance of breaking that money. B8 can fund themselves for the rest of this half pretty much no matter what. By the time they do start running down, the loss bonus would be there. So, yeah, I mean, worst case scenario right now, Sangal have 4 gun rounds to try and tie things up at 6-6. That's a very difficult thing to make happen, I'd imagine. Quick mid-control for B8. Molly's to ensure no one went aggressive on that CT side, and indeed they're not even present right now. Only now are they beginning to rotate a player in. Instead, it was a main aggression that we see. That's actually worked out pretty well. LNZ has managed to get himself a kill around that smoke in mid, and this is easily the best position that Sangal have had in as long as I can remember, pretty much.
Yeah, huge damage. Have managed to slip the net with 1, but he needs to go huge here. Wrinkle grabs a double. Everyone is tagged up for this T side though, and there is timings all over the shop once again. Youngster on the flank gets 1. There's a man in heaven in LNZ. MPL is left alone as Captain Kirker goes down, and his position should be known based on earlier engagements. The smoke goes out, forces him into the open, and Youngster finds the headshot. Just what Sangal needed, a brawl in mid. And it works out beautifully for the CT side to get their 3rd round, the start of what needs to be a fantastic finish to the end of this first half.
As we said, though, it's no real sweat for B8. They won't even think about what they're buying. They'll just click their buy binds here very quickly for everything. And just continue on chugging forward, hoping to even just add 1, maybe 2 more rounds to this T side. Well, they're even going to call in a pause. They're like, yeah, call it 6-3, but it is still the final map. We have 3 pauses. We may as well use them, and you wouldn't see a lot of teams do this, to be honest. Double up setup for Sangal as well. That could make retakes a complicated thing for sure, and BA have been great at getting into the bomb sites, whether it's cleanly or at the very least coming through with trades.
It's a huge economic investment as well. If you look at the rifle, if you go rifles, then maybe that buy comes by a little sooner. Got to put a stop to him now. Here and now. And I mean, in this current meta, double AWPing, it's a brave call. Have to see where they look to deploy Sorcel. Has generally been out towards A main, so you can see the potential there. And indeed, that is where he's going to look to take the AWP. Just absolutely turret it on A main. Guinho operates over towards B. As the initial round of smokes bloom, and well, MPL has managed to get himself into a fairly advanced position in mid here without too much trouble. Game of time.
Aggression. Kurtka Torrensy heard the flasher and a nade being popped, but it never actually came out either. Instead, it functions perfectly to force him to turn away. The op pushed up in main. A bit more success over on A. There we go. There's backup, but it's not going to be quick enough to get that trade. Instead, Saucel given room to back away. The problem is now they have to worry about mid as well. Smoke down at the very least for now.
Wrinkles dealt with Youngster as well on the backstab, and that opens up an opportunity to potentially bail out entirely and head back towards B. You can see the CTs reacting to that information. Ganguinho has got to make the rotation away. LNZ, as a result, has to pick up Temple because they know MPL's been around mid, and they've left Temple open a mighty long time. He's heard all these footsteps, but he can't take advantage of the fight. Critical kill goes against him. LNZ goes down low, sure, but he's still alive and kicking, and that's going to be key here. As Sorcel switching between main and connector, looks to play a timing. Wrinkle swinging wide. Timing is everything. He takes a leg. Shot not quite connecting. HE to follow up will go a little too deep, but second bite at it. Sorcel's got it. And it's a 1v3 Arst of Amster now. There is tags all over the shop. A double AWP to try and make this retake happen. And a Molotov onto the mid site will force Amster into a very odd position. LNZ directly above him here and should just instantly get the drop, but it's not even needed. Sorcel lands the critical kills, 3 from the A main anchor. The double AWP setup works. And with just 2 rounds left in this half, so Sangal are dragging it back.
Yeah, they're starting to find their footing once again. If they can pull it back to 6-6, and if they can keep up the success they've had with pistol rounds, then you can definitely see BA starting to struggle and lose control of this game pretty quickly. Again, they still have the money to fund their last couple buys here that they need on the T side, but it doesn't matter if they don't make them work, which at the moment is looking a bit more likely as we said, Sangal are all starting to pop off a little bit. We've seen good calls though from Sangal. They've been willing to swap things up often, so they ain't never really know what they're going up against on that CT side. It's forced them to start playing pretty cautious as well, which isn't how they were winning those earlier rounds.
Yeah. See it here, very slow. Measured control being taken, conscious of the aggression they've seen. What is the response from B8? Nobody in mid at the moment for the CT side whatsoever. They've actually opted to go for a 3A setup. QB essentially acting as noise and information gathering. Drawing out the utility well from the CT side though. Majority of the A util now thrown. Amster tanking the Molotov to keep those A players busy. And I mean, this is a 2-on-4 out towards the B site. If they can get their timings right, there is a huge opportunity here, but that's a great Molotov. That isolates the fights, and Youngster does fantastically well. Ganguinho trying to do what he can. Captain Kirker and Wrinkle have broken open the site, but it's a 2-on-3. AWP and 2 rifles isn't too bad for this retake scenario either. All 3 of them looking ahead through Speedway. Couple of flashbangs available for the T side, nothing more than that. Not a lot else for the CTs either. The sprays are awkward and they trade in favor of Sangal. That extra man advantage is critical as Kyubi is able to swing and trade. A 5th round on the board, and this CT side is really starting to click now. We're getting shades of Ancient from Sangal. They found their feet and they are really accelerating.
Yeah, I mean, close on the spray transfer though for Captain Kirk. Tried to hit the head, hoped to just get it with the fadeaway bullet as he jumped back in behind the pillar, but fortunately didn't get away and didn't get the kill either. Instead, Sangal once again scrape by in that round and continue on track with a pretty decent comeback on the CT side after what was looking to be a pretty abysmal showing early on. One off there for Sangal, that's a bit of a change as well. As you said, it is very expensive on the economy, they couldn't quite afford it anymore. Gangino did push up deep on mid, but NPL has no fear at all apparently. He did play on that for a while, willing to push through smokes and take those risky plays, knowing that the trade was potentially available.
This is a rough fight for him, though. Won't expect QB on this
Oh,
angle.
Wrinkle.
Timing is everything. Wrinkle has dealt with the A main player, but QB stayed around. He waits, bides his time, gets the kill. A main is open. A is open. LNZ, though, is fast on this rotation. Lightning fast shot from Wrinkle is the response. And that's the man advantage. That's the opportunity to take the lead at the half for B8. It's got very sketchy, very close. Trading places in the smoke. QB gets one, but the trade is immediate. The QB a 1v2, but he's got the high HP and the low HP through the smoke. Kyubi with a huge quad kill in the last round of this first half, as everything is level and it's all to play for once we come back from the break.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
As close as can be, headed into the final half of this best of three. Sangal and B8 drawn level. Nothing to separate them. B8 going hot and cold. Sangal finding their feet. And well, a pistol round that could well decide the fates of both of these lineups in Challenger League this season. Double Julies, a heavy-handed stack over towards the A site. If Sangal can do their homework, B8 can as well, and they are ready and waiting to receive this execute. Smokes go over the top, trying to isolate the fights, but little do they know there is Julies up close and personal, baiting in. MPL manages to get 2, and there's the bait and switch. 3 for MPL, it's flawless. Beautiful, the Julies ring out, 2 guns each, 5 kills between them. That's exactly what B8 needed.
Yeah, they finally remembered how to win a pistol round. That had been eluding them since the first map, where I believe they won both of them, in fairness. So, 3 for 3 overall in the series. Is that enough for B8 to get the finish? They're up against just pistols again here, so with 1 P250 in play for Sangal, I'm not expecting them to really get anything. 3 MP9s though for B8. I kind of like when it's limited to 2. Prepares a little bit more for the future, especially when it is, in this case, a full eco coming in. I guess with how close the scoreline is, they were maybe expecting Sangal to force the issue and see if they could take control early on.
Steps should be heard, but it's an interesting setup. The A site is a little vulnerable here. Good HG goes in, and that'll tank him up beautifully. The MP9s will start to mop up.
Oh, I thought you stole the
well,
ace.
it's an ace for MPL.
Yeah, I thought
It
Kurt
like
stole it. It looked like it, but MPL managed to get his pistol out in time and finish it off. Might have even been assisted by the bit of damage. Either way, Kurt was more than willing to steal the ace right there, so we know what sort of teammate he is.
Big bonus round coming in now as well. One of the MP9s is upgraded by MPL.
Gone onto the op, yeah.
He's dropped Wrinkle, the AWP. An interesting little buy. Question is, can Kirker and Amster
About to
get
say,
the
what?
damage?
Who's he?
Yeah,
New player?
That was a tongue twister. Leave me be.
I don't even know how you made that noise.
Oh, I'm just talented. Aggression out B main is a great call though, and Amster is now well placed. The pop flash comes in, Kirker gets the opening kill as well. The MP9s are singing early on here. And this bonus round is working out beautifully. Youngster, though, is starting to clear his way back through B main, so the timing on that fight could be everything. And Youngster, despite taking a lot of damage, does get the better of the MP9. Timing's all over the shop now. T-side not sure whether they want to stick or twist this. Youngster spotted on the retreat, but not killed off on 10 HP. Owner, this is a big fight for him, and he gets it cleanly. Man advantage retained for now. Wrinkle looking to make it 2, and indeed he does. LNZ just not quite ready for it, as the numbers are thinned further for Sangal. Kyubi and Gangino are left trying to work out how they can make this split a reality, but there is gaps in the defense. Gangino manages to bait the shot out of the AWP, and with only an MP9 holding from Con, that AWP is now out in no man's land, goes down freely, and it's 2v2. Kyubi looking to catch them before they've even made their way to the site, gets one, quickly traded. But it's Gangino now on his favoured weapon. Wrinkle's AWP in his hands as he looks to use it to put down his teammates, knows where MPL's coming from and nails him to the back wall. Sangal make a 2v4 stick to give their T-side the resuscitation it so desperately needed.
Yeah, it was close though, and that means there's still a bit of a danger of them flatlining potentially in this round. The economy obviously isn't great for B8. They did upgrade, as we said, on towards the op, and only kept a couple of those MP9s in play, so you see 2 rifles at least being pulled out of FAMAS for Wrinkle, since he was dropped the op, of course. He gave away the M4 he already had before. And actually, they've gotten another M4 or whatever way they managed to work it out, so it's really not too terrible, especially with 3 Galils in play for Sangal as well. They've got their own weaknesses to work with. It looks like they've called for that B main aggression. Youngsters playing it really passively though. Oh, the second flash though sets him off with the spray and gives his position away. Unfortunate, LNZ at least was able to get a kill elsewhere, so they don't lose the numbers. They've got a 4-on-4 for now. And on the D side, that's a good position for Sangal to be in, especially with LNZ's position. There we go.
Oh,
Reads Amster's spot and hits the insta headshot. Owner up close, I was going to say, if he clears that angle, could potentially have himself another kill.
Oh, that's ugly. Sorsal, quick double, leaves Owner solo. I mean, he will get a freebie here, and he's going for it. But there's so many players ready and waiting for any kind of a response.
Okay.
It should be done, or is it? Owner with a swift headshot onto QB, buys himself a 1v2, and with bomb not down yet, there's still time for him to play. No kit. He knows he's got to be swift about this. Gangino looks to operate from heaven. Owner is ready for it as well. The timing on this first fight could be everything, and Gangino's got the better of it. Everything level at 8 apiece. That last chance saloon of a buy for B8 does not land. The full eco to follow as Sangal once again just stretching their legs, finding gaps in the defense, getting picks left, right, and center. And at the moment, B8 just don't seem to be able to stem the bleeding.
Yeah, they're keeping it neck and neck throughout this game. And, well, right now, Sangal are the ones who have taken control and should have a little bit of a lead going for themselves. Yeah, get 2400 only in this next round as well. So, again, it's one of those buys where you get the rifles and the basics, but nothing flashy. I like this A main call. Unfortunately, there's no one waiting here this time. The player who is actually pretty passive, so he can fairly easily fall away if he wants to, but he was hungry for the eco kills. I understand, but unfortunately that's given an AK away. It's the same thing I would have done, even though I know it's wrong, so fair enough.
Yeah, I think everyone would. It's just the way of the CS player.
In your head, you know? It's like a racing driver. If you don't go for it, what's the point?
If you see a gap and you no longer go for it, you are no longer a racing driver. If you see an eco frag and no longer go for it, you are no longer a CS2 player.
Exactly. Can't say CSGO
Surprised to see
anymore.
QB not hunting this, not gonna lie. I mean, he's only got a Mac 10. I would have thought you'd send him going for a look. See if he can maybe take this AK away, and he is starting to think about it now.
Left it a bit late, unfortunately. I think it needed to be an early call. As soon as they knew that AK was dropped, he should have been quickly on their heels. Not gonna find him. Hunkered down in that bomb site. Over towards main. A Deagle and an AK carried forward. It's not terrible. They'll get all their guns out now, and as I had said, their utility wouldn't have been amazing. So for NPL now to have, well, all of his nades is a pretty good position. Wrinkle even gets dropped the op over. So yeah, it's a pretty good buy overall. I was about to say, did Owner get dropped an M4 in return? There you go. He did eventually. It's getting a little bit scary for B8 though, I've got to say. If they don't come alive in this gun round, then they're on an eco, they're giving up that 11th most likely, and then again they're in a position where they need to make the comeback happen.
Big timeout. What's the call? What is the play to get this CT side rolling again? As you said, really getting down to the nuts and bolts of it now. Running out of time to have an impact. QB, interestingly, is going to stick with that Mac 10 a while. Could have upgraded to the AK. Has the cash to do so. We see him looking to prod and poke a little swifter into these opening moments than some of his teammates. Tapped down by the HE early, but nothing too significant. And QB is going to lead the charge in towards E-box. Faster paced play onto B, and Owner is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He has got to hightail it out and just about gets to safety. Flash over the top is good, however, and Namster, losing his teammates all around him, has got so much to do, and there's just nothing to be found. The faster paced play gets the better of B8. Captain Kirka with at least one through the smoke, but it feels like a consolation kill here. Blows the smoke himself to try and get into this fight, but Sorcel is just ready and waiting for it. And for Wrinkle, this AWP may be more valuable than giving this round a go. A 1v3 feels incredibly improbable, and Sangal are just giving him nothing. They've picked their afterplants. They're sticking to the plan. They're sticking to double digits on this T side. This is going from bad to worse from B8. They just don't seem to be able to get a read on what Sangal are trying at any given moment. This time, the faster paced play towards B just catches them a little off guard. With that free pick, even if it's a B-heavy play from the CT side, it's like 2-on-4, 2-on-5. You're just never going to be able to hold on to that site long enough to have an impact.
It's all on the line right now. B8, as we said, are facing the eco, at least with a couple of weapons saved, there's a little bit that they can do. There's a chance that maybe they come out with a round win here, but it's pretty slim, especially when Wrinkle takes crazy plays like that running through a Molotov. I mean, I understand going for a peek, but when that molly went down, surely you think, nah, I think I'll just wait. But no, unfortunately, the op given away, the nice spin thrown over the barrier, unfortunately, and the regular old one picked up in play. As a 5-on-3 now, already in favor of Sangal. They shouldn't have any trouble closing this one out. And then B8, everything is going to be relying on this next gun round.
Needed a little bit more out of them. Captain Kirk gets one, but it's isolated reward. Position known as well. Mollies go in, they're just bleeding him dry. Wallbangs attempted by Gangino on the AWP. Rifles to try and hunt their man down. I mean, Sorsol is low HP, so he'll get one, and that potentially opens up an avenue for escape here out towards A. Timings will be everything for him if he hopes to hold on to this AK, but like you said, this is now do or die time for B8. They've not left themselves any breathing room in this one. Nice shot from Captain Kirk to try and hold on to that AK a little while longer. He's still being hunted though. LNZ and Gangino are not going to let this one go easy, and indeed they will finally put their man down. Aware of what that potentially means for the economy long term should they win this round. The 3,400 loss bonus to come and a full investment to be called. Taking away rifles like that could be the difference between victory and defeat.
It's now or never. B8, after such a great start to the series, probably never expected themselves to be in this position. Had a great start to the map as well, 6-2, right, at one point. And then Sangal have just had full control. 9-2 around. Since that moment, Wrinkle at least gives them a solid opener this time around. No molly to stop him from taking that peek, and he catches LNZ, who is completely unaware, is just trying to cross towards the A side of things.
Much needed. Big man advantage to find. Spots a lot of information for his team as well, although they're not necessarily acting on it just yet. Maintaining that 3B stack. Yubi just fakes the idea of the mid-execute, starts to try and draw the rotations over towards A, and Sangal, well, they've done well. B8 are biting. As they work their way out of the E-box, there's nobody inside of the site itself. The problem is the bomb is still in main here. They've slightly miscued it. So that bomb's going to have to waste a little more util making its cross, and it's going to buy a little more time for the likes of Captain Kirker to catch the rotations. Pop flashed into the angle. Kyubi does fantastically well. Goes down low, but gets a kill. 3-on-4 now. Sorsol tagged up by the repetitive spam of Wrinkle's AWP, leaving Youngster the only healthy player with a lot of heavy lifting to do, and he's up for it. 2 clean headshots by his team, a man advantage they never thought they'd have. That bomb ticking down all the while in their favor. Wrinkle's so far out of it on Speedway, I don't think they have any idea how much damage they've done here. Sorsol tagged up by a wayward shot. There's no way of knowing that, and Kyubi's damage just doesn't seem to have made it across the communications lines. Wrinkle will get one, but his AWP is traded away from him. And MPL, well, he knows he's just got to try and get out of there with anything he can. Manages to grab Gangino's AWP and save it out. But it's 12 to Sangal, and look at the economy for B8.
Yeah, it looks like this might be the end of the road. There's an op to work with at least. 2 M4s. Kurtka should be able to get one as well. The A1S, maybe even just body armor if you wanted to go the A4, but no, he's gonna keep it simple with the A1S, gonna smoke alongside it. Yeah, I mean, 4 rounds in a row, it's not impossible. Definitely is doable, but not how they've been playing so far on the CT side. And I mean, just since the comeback started from Sangal really in round 8. Excuse me, sorry, round 9. Oh, they tried to charge through that mid-smoke, and Nade did open it up. And FPL only shows himself just as it begun to come back into form. Gets himself 2 quick kills up close and personal, and well, gives BA easily the best position that they've had throughout really this entire half.
Shot from the substitute AWPer as well. Starts to give the game away a little bit. Smoke to try and shroud their cross into the site itself, but Ona through the smoke goes for it. Lands the shots. Gangino able to trade for at least one, but that bomb is now out in no man's land. The AWPer's got to go for the recovery. And even if they can get this plant down, a 2v4 after plant to contend with. Gangino and Sorcel both working their way in towards E-Box, looking for the initial peak. Nothing given. Sorcel looks to relocate as Gangino does manage to get the reload off. They need a couple of kills out of this rifle now. If they're going to have any chance, Gangino wants the peak. There's an AWP holding for it. 1 for 1 might not be good enough. 3 quick kills needed for Sorcel. Isolates one, nails the second, and it's all on Wrinkle. Switches to the rifle, knowing the HP is low. That bomb is so far gone, but it's all Sorcel. A 1v3 to clutch it up and get Sangal their W.